Well, I can't believe I'm saying this, but today is the day that I can finally say, along with a lot of you guys, that I officially have my Nintendo Switch 2 next generation Nintendo console officially pre-ordered. So this is going to be a pretty quick and simple video, I think. Not a whole lot to really say, but I just thought that it would be fun to kind of talk about the moment and how exciting it is that Switch 2 pre-orders are live here in North America. Obviously, I'm in the States, I'm in North America, so I'm obviously referring to how things have played out here versus the rest of the world, where a lot of places have already been able to pre-order. But today, the 24th of April, it's finally something that most of us can say we've had an opportunity to do. And as you can see, I have my GameStop receipt because I did go and pre-order in person. This was the way I always intended to do it. I am not a fan of the insanity of trying to pre-order tech and video game consoles and hardware and things on the internet. There are just too many damn people in the world, man. And then there are bots, and then there are scalpers. It's just not worth the stress and headache, you know, if it can be avoided. This even applies to things like concert tickets, man. I mean, even that alone is a disaster. And so my plan was always to try to just do this in person. I'm an old school guy. I miss the days of having to wait in line to pre-order things and wait in line to pick them up at midnight. And you're hanging out with people and you're talking with people and it's just a big event and everyone is excited because you're all there for the same thing. And so for the Switch 2, I knew that was what I wanted to do, and it turned out to be the best decision possible. So before I talk about my quick and very easy experience, I do want to touch on what it seems like happened with a lot of other folks and everyone last night who was trying to pre-order online, and most people actually being successful, at least in my circles and what I've seen from other people I know and follow, friends, other content creators. It seems like it was fairly smooth, but I'm on the west coast of the United States, so all of these midnight pre-orders that folks on the east coast were waiting for us here was 9 p.m. And so as 9 p.m. was strolling around, I started checking on social media sites to just see what people were saying and how it was going. And I had a few of my friends also texting me with their own experiences as well. And everyone I know personally who tried to get one last night online did succeed. And like I said, come 9 o'clock, as I'm looking at how it's going for other folks online, I saw a lot of initial struggle. It seems like it was kind of a disaster and a shit show for the first, 5 to 20 minutes. And a few people saying I got my pre-order, but I saw a lot of people saying this isn't working, carts are emptying, things are crashing, this is a disaster, Nintendo, what are you doing? It was kind of like 10% success and 90% failure for the first 20 minutes. And I certainly felt bad for a lot of you guys, man, who were in the trenches trying to figure out the online pre-order situation last night, because that is stress that I don't wish on my worst enemy. And I've been there. Trying to get my PS5 back in 2020 was the same thing. So I hated to see it, but like I said, after about 15 or 20 minutes, I started to see that everyone was saying, okay, I got it to work. I got it from Target. I got it from Walmart. I got it from Best Buy. Those were the places to do it. GameStop's online pre-orders didn't become available until 11 a.m. today on the 24th. Last night, no one was able to do it at the midnight 9 p.m. time frame for GameStop. So people were relying on Target, Walmart, and Best Buy. And so all things totaled, when the dust was really starting to settle, around 10:30 my time, which would have been 1:30, on the East Coast, I saw, like I said, 95% of people I know and fellow content creators who are friends of mine and everyone else, just a general conversation. A lot of people sharing screenshots and their success stories of, it worked. I ordered my Switch 2. I even saw someone say they got 2 Switch 2s pre-ordered. I don't know how that happened, but they did. And so it seems like going into this, we were all preparing for the battle. We had nerves. We were stressed. That's, again, literally the reason I didn't even worry about doing it online myself. But Nintendo kept trying to reassure us. Again, I'm talking North America here. In North America and in the United States, don't worry. We've had Switch 2s stateside for several months. We anticipated this. We're going to have huge supply to meet the demand, more than ever before. 100 Switch 2s for every GameStop were things that were being said. All this kind of stuff. And so We wanted to believe that, and for 20 minutes it seemed like that was a lie and it wasn't going to work out, but again, when the dust settled, I saw most people, not everybody to be fair, but most people were able to get their Switch 2s pre-ordered, and it was a pretty awesome thing to see, despite the initial disaster. Now for me, earlier this week on Monday, I went into one of my 2 local GameStops to just kind of ask, like, hey, what is this going to look like? Do you guys know what your allotment is going to be for your store or for all stores? Do you know what the demand is going to look like? Are you going to open at a different time to allow people to pre-order, like at midnight or earlier in the morning? Do you recommend people line up? These are the questions I wanted to ask. And the guy had no answers and said, just call back later in the week because managers are going to have a conference call and we'll have all these details. Okay, fine. So then yesterday, when I started seeing people sharing the signs that GameStop was posting, showing how many Switch 2s they were getting for the regular edition and for the bundle edition, I called my GameStop again and I was like, okay, so I know tomorrow morning pre-orders go live. Do you know your numbers? And he was like, there's going to be a sign posted tomorrow morning. And I was like, okay, well, do you have any information? Because the manager said you guys would know by now. And he just said, there's going to be a sign posted tomorrow morning. Clearly telegraphing to me that he was sick of everyone asking about the Switch 2, as if you don't work in a literal video game retailer. And he wasn't going to give me any more information, and I was like, fine, bro, I'll just figure it out, whatever. And keep in mind, I have a lot of sympathy for retail workers and even for GameStop workers because I was spending a lot of time in retail in my early years working, when I was a teenager into my 20s, and that includes 3 years at GameStop as an assistant manager in the 6th generation. So I get it. I want to be sympathetic to the struggles of the retail worker who doesn't get paid a lot and gets overworked. But I feel like the simple question was like, dude, like, what's the number? I know you guys have it. I didn't push him, but I was like, what's the number? And he just was clearly annoyed and didn't want to give me the number. So that guy, whatever, I just moved on. Called the other GameStop. They said that the guy was very cool. He's like, yeah, we're going to get like 100. And I say you start lining up around this time tomorrow. And I was like, great. So that GameStop was in the mall near me. So this morning, the store opens at 11. That's also when doors for the mall are supposed to open. So I was a little bit nervous, but I felt good because he said there was going to be 100 Switch 2s. And I was like, it's the mall store, so it should be fine. I strolled up around 8:15. There was no one else in the parking lot but one other guy just standing around. Then as we got closer to 9, 2 or 3 more people showed up and were standing outside the door for the doors to open. And also I saw a lot of old people showing up because, as a lot of us know, old people like to walk around the mall early in the morning. So I was like, okay, the old people are not my competition for a Switch 2, but I can see when they get let into the mall, so I can get let in and then stand in front of GameStop and wait. And at 9 o'clock, that's what happened. Doors opened. Old people and a few other fellow nerds like me started shuffling through the doors into the mall. I walked right up to the GameStop, and there was pretty much no one there. And I saw the sign. And the sign said they had 126 total Switch 2s at this store, which was amazing. And I was like, great, I'm going to get in line. And believe it or not, I feel super lucky. It just worked out magically for me. I was the first person in line. Me and this one other guy, we strolled up to the door at the same time and saw the number and said, oh, okay, 126. This is great. No one's here yet. And we just stood in line. And I was literally the first person in line. And by the time the last 30 or so minutes before the store opened at 11 had happened, the line had grown from like 20 people to like well over 100. The line was huge. I don't know if my picture captures it here, but it was really massive. A lot of people were there. But with 126 Switch 2s, I want to believe that pretty much everyone got a Switch 2. Even ran into a really good buddy of mine and an ex-coworker, so we got to talk and shoot the shit. And I know that he got his Switch 2 as well, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, what are the odds, man? I just showed up like at 8:15 in the morning, waiting for the doors for the mall to open. I didn't know when they were going to open, but luckily 9 was the time. And like me of all people, there I was, the first person in line with 100 and some odd people waiting in line after me by the time the store opened. It was pretty darn sweet, man. And so it's obviously a long story to tell to say, as I showed in the beginning, here's my receipt, man. Switch 2. In hand. I freaking got it. I got Mario Kart, I got Donkey Kong, I got a Pro Controller. I am stoked. I'm basically just looking at it as like my Metroid Prime 4 TV converter. That's what I'm gonna call it. That's not really fair because obviously I care about all things coming to Switch 2, but it is my Metroid Prime 4 machine. I cannot wait for Mario Kart. Donkey Kong's going to blow me away, I know it. But man, it just feels good to have it. And so that's my experience, and I'm so glad because there was no stress, there were no struggles, and I did it in person. So I know I have it. I know I'm going to have it right away. I don't have to worry about what if something happens with mail and it gets delayed or it gets lost and I have to figure that out. You know, it's ready to go. And on top of that, another huge bonus, because GameStop is doing a midnight launch for the Switch 2. But since I'm on the West Coast, they confirmed they're able to do the 9 o'clock time. So instead of doing it at midnight, I'm going to get it on the night of June 4th at 9 p.m., I'm going to be able to pick up my Switch 2, man. That is the coolest. And so, no stress, no hassle, no F5 refresh on 3 screens open trying to go to 3 websites while bots are scooping things up and ruining everyone's life. And again, I feel bad for all of you guys who went through that, and I have done it before. I'm just saying I knew to anticipate that, and I knew I didn't even want to deal with that garbage in my life. I wanted this to be a smooth, simple process, like the old days, man. Just go wait in line with a few people, pre-order your system, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and that's what I did. And so yeah, like I said, not much more else to say. I just kind of wanted to celebrate this moment, and I want to hope that most of you guys and most people who watch this video also got your Switch 2s pre-ordered if you wanted to pre-order one and if you tried to pre-order one. So of course, I'll be excited to see in the comments how many of you guys were able to get a pre-order. And I'm sure people who didn't even want one are just going to scream about how, you're the worst because you guys bought Switch 2s and you supported Nintendo and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whatever, man, like, you know, go off, I guess. But I want to hear from you guys who were excited, wanted a Switch 2, and if you got one. And if you didn't get one, if something fell apart and you did not get a pre-order in this first wave, my heart goes out to you. It's a stressful thing. It's lame that it has to be so difficult to just buy a silly little product that is a hobby that we just spend our free time doing. But it is a challenge nowadays, so hopefully not many of you guys struck out. And I really, really want to believe that most of you guys got one. So share your own story below. Let me know if you were successful and if you're just counting down the days till your Switch 2 arrives in the mail, or if you're going to go pick it up at midnight like I am at GameStop. And let us celebrate together, man. The next generation Nintendo console is just a month and a half away. Less than that. It's like 5-6 weeks away. We're here, man. It's about to happen. I can't wait. So that's my story. Thanks for tuning in. Share your own stories below, and I will see you guys next time.